In this video, I show you how I build this simple chair. I'm making this chair from repurposed cedar from an old headboard that I built. Now because this is pretty rough, I'm going to be running everything through the planer just to clean up everything, get any glue or stain off of this. Now you don't have to do this if you buy your material new and you buy it surface 3 sides or 4 sides. Starting with the back legs, I need a board that's at least 40 inches because that'll be the total height of the leg. Now the legs I'm building have kind of a slant, so what I'm doing is I'm marking at 16, 18, and 40 inches. And now I would recommend leaving about an inch of space, or however much you need, on either end of the board. It helps later on when you're cutting this out to have a little extra wiggle room. Now after this, at the 16 and 18 inch mark, I'm marking down 2.5 inches. So from 0 to 2.5 inches, that's the total width of the leg. After I mark this, I then go to the ends at 0 and 40 inches, and I mark 4.5 and 6.5 inches down. This will account for the slant, which gives the back of the chair about a 10-degree slant backwards. And for the bottom of the leg, I had that kick out as well just for stability. Now you can get a better picture at how the back legs look. You can see in that middle part there that goes forward to the right, that's where I'm going to connect some stretchers for the seat. Now for the front legs, these will be 2.5 by 18 inches. You can probably tell at this point that the seat will be a little over 19 inches off the floor. That was comfortable for me, but you may want to shorten the front and back legs depending on your preferred seat height. Now for connecting everything together, I need 6 rails at 2 and 15.5 inches.
Now for assembly, I want to use the domino because I planned all my measurements and design here for a floating tenon assembly. I do want to point out, if you want to go the more traditional approach with mortise and tenon, you'll want to cut the rails a little bit longer so you can cut the tenon on end, and then you can add your mortise in the legs. Now, another option here is dowels, and people like some of the doweling jigs, some of the more expensive doweling jigs out there. The issue with dowels is for the jigs, it's usually made for the real small dowels that you buy in a bucket or whatever, and you have to try to fit 2 or 3 of those. That can sometimes be difficult to line up. Another option here is just buy a thicker dowel from the store. Any hardware store has these. This is a 5/8 inch one, which is probably pretty good, but this one, you know, all you have to do is measure and drill 1 hole on each side. So that, of course, is a good option if you're looking for something as an alternative to one of the many doweling jigs. Of course, the domino is basically the best of everything for, you know, how quickly you can put it together and accuracy and how easy it is. But I wanted to throw out just this option here if you're considering dowels for your floating tenons.
Now the really nice thing about floating tenon or mortise and tenon joinery is how easy assembly is. Everything basically fits together like Legos, so you can see here I'm just doing a dry fit to make sure everything looks good before glue up. Now I do want to point out a downside to a single larger dowel that I pointed out before is your pieces may rotate during glue up. So that's a pro of using a doweling jig with the smaller dowels or going this route with more rectangular floating tenons. Now for these two rails on the upper back, I need a back support, something you can lean against. I'm going the incredibly simple route. All I'm doing is cutting out a piece at 7 by 15.5 inches. Now it's time to connect the two halves, and this is where it starts to get a bit more critical to make sure that I have things lined up correctly. I'm working with repurposed cedar, so this is all I have. I really don't have room for error because I have no extra material. Lastly, for the seat, it'll be an 18-inch square, so I'm cutting out any board or scraps I have left at 18 inches to glue them together as just a basic slab for a seat. Now for attaching the seat, because it can expand and contract, I'm just attaching it with one screw on each of the rails on the sides. Now with the chair fully assembled, I'm going to go through and sand everything, which normally is done beforehand, but with how many close joints I have, I thought it would be best to sand it after being assembled.